In the late autumn of 1941, the German war machine, seemingly unstoppable, stood at the gates of Moscow. Operation Barbarossa had been a whirlwind of victories, and the fall of the Soviet capital felt inevitable. German commanders were so confident they planned for a victory parade in Red Square. But they had tragically underestimated to formidable adversaries the brutal Russian winter and the unyielding spirit of the Soviet defenders embodied by their revolutionary tanks. As the first snows fell and the ground turned to a sea of mud, the German advance began to falter. Their sophisticated war machine, designed for the paved roads of Western Europe, ground to a halt. And then, emerging from the unforgiving landscape, came the Soviet response, the KV heavy tank and the T-34 medium tank. For the German soldiers, it was a terrifying shock. Their standard anti-tank guns, the 37mm PaK-36, simply bounced off the thick, sloped armor of these new Soviet behemoths. They nicknamed it the door knocker for its complete ineffectiveness. Let's first talk about the KV tank, named after Clement Voroshilov. This was a true land battleship. Its armor was so thick that it was virtually immune to most German anti-tank weapons of the era. A single KV tank could hold up an entire German division. There are documented accounts of one KV tank strategically positioning itself on a road, blocking the German advance for days. It absorbed hit after hit, its crew defiantly firing back, single-handedly disrupting German supply lines and timetables. The psychological impact was immense. The Germans had to call in their heavy 88mm flak guns or dive bombers just to deal with a single KV, diverting precious resources and, crucially, losing time. Every hour of delay brought the full fury of winter closer. But the real game-changer was the T-34. It's often called the most influential tank design of the Second World War, and for very good reason. The T-34 was a masterpiece of battlefield pragmatism. Its most revolutionary feature was its sloped armor. By angling the armor plates, the effective thickness was massively increased, causing many incoming shells to simply deflect or ricochet off. It was a simple but brilliant innovation that gave it protection comparable to a much heavier tank. But its genius didn't stop there. The T-34 was designed for the Russian landscape. It had wide tracks which distributed its weight more evenly. This meant that while German Panzer III and IVS were getting bogged down in the thick mud or Rasputitsa, the T-34 could glide over it. When the mud froze into icy, treacherous terrain, these wide tracks gave it superior grip and mobility. The Germans, with their narrow-track tanks, were literally stuck in their tracks, becoming easy targets. Furthermore, the T-34's V-to-diesel engine was a marvel of rugged engineering. Unlike the gasoline engines of German tanks, the diesel was less prone to catching fire when hit. More importantly, it was less fussy about fuel quality, a huge advantage when supply lines were stretched thin. And crucially, it was easier to start in the extreme cold that was crippling the German forces. German crews had to light fires under their engines for hours just to get them started, a dangerous and time-consuming process. Soviet crews, meanwhile, could get their T-34s moving much more quickly, allowing for rapid counterattacks and tactical flexibility. Of course, a tank is only as good as its crew, and here the Soviets demonstrated a level of resilience and adaptability that was simply astounding. These were not professional soldiers in the same mold as the Wehrmacht. Many were factory workers or farmers, hastily trained and thrown into the fray, but they learned fast. They learned how to operate and, critically, how to repair their machines in the most brutal conditions imaginable. Frostbite was a constant enemy. Tools would freeze to their bare hands, but they kept their tanks running. The design of the T-34 actually helped them. It was intentionally made simple. It was rough, unrefined, and lacked the creature comforts of German tanks, but it was easy to manufacture and, more importantly, easy to repair in the field. A damaged T-34 could often be patched up and sent back into the fight by its own crew using basic tools and scavenged parts. This field serviceability was a massive strategic advantage. While a damaged panzer might have to be sent all the way back to Germany for complex repairs, a Soviet tank crew could have their machine battle-ready again in a matter of hours. This adaptability extended to the entire Soviet war effort. As the Germans advanced, the Soviets performed an incredible logistical feat. They dismantled entire tank factories, like the famous Kharkiv tractor factory, put them on thousands of trains, and relocated them east beyond the Ural Mountains. There, in the bitter cold, they reassembled the factories and continued churning out T-34s at an astonishing rate. They even simplified the design further to speed up production. The famous T-30 for 76ths was a direct result of this wartime pragmatism, focusing on what mattered: a good gun, strong armor, and mobility. Everything else was secondary, so picture the scene for a German soldier in December 1941. He has thousands of miles from home, freezing in sub-zero temperatures. His summer uniform is useless. His weapons are freezing up. His tank is stuck in the snow. His supply lines are cut. And out of the blizzard, a T-34 appears, its wide tracks carrying it effortlessly over the terrain that has become his prison. Its gun can destroy his tank from a distance where he can't even scratch its paint. It's a terrifying, morale-shattering experience. The German Blitzkrieg relied on speed, momentum, and shock. The combination of the KV and T-3 for tanks, the unforgiving weather, and the sheer tenacity of the Soviet crews completely broke that momentum. The delays they caused were catastrophic for the German timetable. What was supposed to be a quick campaign turned into a war of attrition, a war the Germans were not prepared to fight in the winter of 1941. The stalled advance gave the Soviets precious time. Time to bring in fresh, well-equipped Siberian divisions accustomed to the cold. Time for their relocated factories to produce thousands more tanks. When the Soviet counteroffensive began on December 5th, it was against a German army that was exhausted, frozen, and demoralized. The myth of German invincibility was shattered in the snows outside Moscow. The story of the T-34 and KV tanks in 1941 isn't just about steel and gunpowder. It's a powerful lesson in how smart design, tailored to its environment, can overcome supposed technological superiority. It is a testament to human resilience and the incredible ability of people to adapt and persevere in the face of overwhelming odds. The defenders of Moscow showed that victory isn't always won by the most sophisticated weapon, but by the right weapon in the right place, in the hands of people who simply refuse to lose. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the machines and people who shaped our world. Let me know in the comments what other historical battles you'd like to see covered. Until next time, stay curious.